Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of the Deluxe Dino Charge Morpher from the new Power Rangers Dino Charge. I'm sorry it took me a bit longer to find these toys, but I can't really control when they arrive in my area, but we finally have them. So we'll be taking a look at the toy, and then in the last half of the review, we'll be taking a look at a comparison to its Japanese counterpart. But first we're going to start with the packaging. I'm definitely going to be going over the packaging in these reviews simply because it's new and I like to check out the new packaging. But it's pretty much the sort of same style packaging we've been getting the last few years. The Morpher kind of on the outside. You can see there's a picture of Dino Charge Red holding a charger. This is where the gun was, and mine was actually, when it was on the shelf, it looked normal, and then I touched it and it like snapped and the gun actually fell out there in the store. But I was the only one, so I wasn't about to be like, nah, I'll pass. So the packaging isn't that secure, at least in that respect. And then the chargers are here, so we'll get annoying pictures all year of people complaining about people stealing them. And then on the back here, you know, it just shows general functionality like usual, shows battle sounds and lights, it shows the kid they have this year working with it, shows you how it works and whatnot, collect them all advertisement for the chargers, and advertisement for the sword they can combine with it, and a cool shot of Dino Charge Red here. But yeah, overall pretty neat. I kind of wish that, you know, in the last few years they had the packaging of the Red Ranger kind of holding, it looked like he was holding the Morpher. It created this creepy white plastic thing, but still, it would have been cool to get something like that. But overall, I still really do enjoy the packaging, and you can see like the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur teeth here. I guess it could be any dinosaur teeth, but still, cool packaging. I'll leave this here for now, I might move it later. Anyway, so now let's move on to the main event, now that I managed to talk about the packaging for a minute and a half. So you get the Morpher right here, and then you get two Dino Chargers. You get the Tyrannosaurus one right here. Honestly, I really dig these. They're a little bit smaller than the Japanese version, which I'll be able to show in a bit here, but yeah, they're a smidge smaller, but I really dig the size. It's kind of like the Ranger keys. I really like it, and it's not as huge of a deal since they're batteries. The only real nitpick I have about their look is I wish the eye was painted right here. That's the only thing. It would have been such a small amount of paint. Other than that, I'm pretty fine with it. This pretty much looks the same. These are filled in with a color as opposed to, I think it was just straight up black, but I actually kind of dig that design-wise. And on the back, it just says the full name of the dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex, which, you know, is correct. I wouldn't expect it to say Gaburevolover because that is not what it's going to be called in the show. Now, what's cool here, which I think is a bonus, which they did better, is that when it does have the flipping gimmick by pressing this, but it goes through the entire animation. You see it have it fully charged up, halfway, not charged up. So you should start from here, but then it creates a little animation. So it's got 3 slides, which is really cool, which I think is actually an improvement over its counterpart. Really neat. And then here is the Black Rangers, which also I think looks very good. Let's do a little animation. He was starting from the right place. This is a little animation. On the back there, Parasaurolophus, Hip Hop Anonymous. Damn! You gave him the easy ones! Anyway, sorry. But yeah, very cool. I'll take a quick look at those, or at least one of them next to their Japanese version later. But now let's go ahead and move into the sides so they don't fall over, and take a look at the Morpher. So honestly, I think the Morpher looks pretty good. It is smaller than the counterpart, which I'll be showing. But still, I don't find it to be that terrible of a size. Actually, I really dig the size and the fact that I like the sort of almost pocket feel to it, especially after having the Gaburevolover. I don't know, I just really like the way it feels in my hand. It sounds really weird, but I really do dig it. I mean, I guess it could be a little bit bigger, but as I always say in these reviews, we have to factor in we have a different economy here, and all kinds of decisions have to be made because of that. But overall, I'm pretty fine with the size. I know it's not exactly accurate, but I think it'll be both fine for kids and adults, because even though, you know, I recognize that it's smaller, it doesn't feel like those, you know, deluxe Power Rangers weapons where I can just say, wow, this is pretty pitiful, like even when I was little. This still feels okay to me, and I like that I can actually pull the mouth open like this. You can do that on the other one, but you're not supposed to because of the release button, and it's more difficult. I don't know, it just feels nice. But look-wise, I do think it looks good. It's missing a few minor paint apps, which, like I said, they're minor. I think there's some here, maybe here. We'll know more in a minute when I get to it directly. And would it be nice to have those? Sure, but it's not a deal breaker. They got the core look of it down, and I think it still looks good even on the shelf. Like, if they had completely not painted this or left the eye out or maybe left the teeth yellow, then that would have been a huge gaping detail. But there's such small little things that it's easy to overlook, and I just see it as a minor thing. And it's painted on both sides, which is really nice. Now, because it is a gun-shaped weapon, because of the you know, laws here, we have to have the orange tips, which actually I think works out here. Like would it be nice to not have it? Sure. But because of the sort of brighter color scheme that this has, the orange fits in with it, actually. It almost looks like it's a part of the design, so it really isn't as huge of a bother. Like I said, if we could not have it, sure, that would be cool too, but I'm really not mad at it this time. Like last year's Super Mega Blaster, it really stood out, but here it almost blends in and makes it seem like it's a part of the design. And, you know, the fact that it's just on the tips too helps. Like if it was this whole nostril and like going back in here, it would be super noticeable, but it's hardly even noticeable. But yeah, overall, look-wise, I'm pleased. The only real complaint that I have is I wish it had the little loop here so you can spin it around. Although it's pretty hard to spin around the Gaburevolover, would have been pretty cool to spin this around. So that's really my only complaint that I really don't like, is I wish it had that. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it sound-wise. There's a little button on here, so I'll turn it on. Makes activation noises. Now, it will cycle through 3 blasting noises without any batteries in it. And that sounds like recycled Terra Scream from Dino Thunder. And now I say when it makes sounds without batteries in it, I mean these batteries, not real batteries. That's really confusing, actually. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so now when you pull this up, it will make an activation noise. And then when you press it down, and when you do that without anything in it, it won't do anything. Or like this. Alright, so let's go ahead and place it in. So they have little readers here that will tell it what to do, and then this is going to be for the app. So let's go ahead, you put it in right here. It only has 1 slot as opposed to the 2 the Japanese version has. But let's go ahead and put it in. We'll make that noise. Now let's close it back up. Alright, after it does that, then spin the wheel. Press the button.
Tyrannosaurs Rex, Power Ranger Red.
Alright, so that's essentially the morph, and then when you press it again, you'll get an attack noise. Same attack noise afterwards. And then, if you let this keep spinning, it'll just kind of peter out. So that's pretty cool. The main first voice that says DX Charger is the Morphin Madness voice, which is actually sounds pretty... Whoops. You interrupted me, Robotic Ranger.
Tyrannosaurs Rex, Power Ranger Red.
Yeah, we get it. But yeah, so that was the Morphin Madness voice, and then this voice we just heard was just some sort of generic Ranger voice that probably going to represent what they say in the show, because we just seen the trailer as of this recording and they say Unleash the Power. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if they'll have the Morphin Madness voice in the show, because, you know, last year Gosei didn't say the names of the legendary Ranger teams, but still, at least the phrases seem accurate to what we know so far, and I do like the sounds. I mean, the voice is a little obnoxious, he's like, Unleash the Power, but you get used to it, and I dig it, and I really like the Morphin Madness voice. So when you take a battery out, there's a button on each side of here. When you press it, it's not going to pop out. You have to lean it forward. Unless that's just mine, but I have to lean it forward. I'm just like sitting here waiting like, come on, let's go. All right, so let's put in the Paracharger.
Paracharger, engage, energize.
All right.
Unleash the power. Parasaurolophus, Power Ranger Black.
All right, now it's attack. Okay, so that's pretty much it, because those are the only 2 you get with it. There is a ton of sounds in it, just like before. You have 1 for each Ranger, all the core 5 Rangers. We're going to have Gold, Aqua, Graphite, Talon, Silver, Purple, all those. And there's even like Comic-Con exclusive sounds. So it's going to have a ton of sounds, but this is pretty much just what you get out of the box. And you can mess with it. I'm not going to bother, quote-unquote, hacking, which this fandom calls hacking, pressing buttons. But, you know, if you like put tape around it or do whatever, you can mess with it. But that is pretty much it for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Japanese version for comparison. Alright, so here we have the 2. I'll set the batteries aside. So as you can see, there is a significant size difference between the 2. This one was quite a bit larger, but they do have a bit of a different, you know, economy over there, and they do have the more paint apps there. Mine's a little dinged up, but yeah, you can see the differences there. It's funny because the barrels actually have this red thing on there, which sort of almost fits this. You can see that there's 2 battery slots there for that. Oops, sorry about that. But yeah, it's the size difference you can see here, and just a few more little flecks of black paint, which honestly, like I said, for me isn't a huge deal breaker. Obviously the functionality is different. You have to press this to pull this back. Like I said, there's 2 batteries in there. This voice sounds like a crackhead Oompa Loompa. Ours sounds normal. But yeah, and there's no samba music, which we still don't know 100% if they're not going to dance. But I wouldn't expect them to include it regardless. In fact, I don't understand people's complaints when they don't have the same voice, because we've never really used that many of the same voices, so I wouldn't expect this to sound crazy and stupid. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, would it be nice to have a few of those paint apps? Sure, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And it doesn't have the 2 slots, but given the way the attacks are, it wouldn't really add too much more fun. Doesn't work quite like this one did in terms of combining the attacks. And at the core, it retains the functions that made the Gaburevolover fun for me, and I think kids will really like it. Just to quickly show you, here's a comparison of the batteries. Here they are size-wise, American version, Japanese version. Let me switch here. So here they are side by side. As you can see, they're primarily the same, but you see that it was white, not black. But yeah, white here for this. This one's colored in with that color. The eyeball. The backs are going to have different names, which is pretty obvious. But what I think really makes this one stand out is, see, this one just has the 2 modes, and this one does little animation. So really cool. Now let's show these 2 next to each other. Let's get the right one. There's the 2 next to each other. Backs. Gimmick. So yeah, but overall, I really do dig this Morpher. I really only have small problems with it, with just make sure they could add a little more paint and then the loop here. But most of all, like I just said, I think it really retains what made the Gaburevolover fun for me. And I think this will be a lot of fun for kids. Hell, it's a lot of fun for me. I think it's a really cool Morpher. And you know, if I mentioned this in my previous reviews as well, but if I was exclusively a Power Rangers fan and I was interested in the sounds in addition to the way it looks, I would go for this one, because sure, you get this nice looking thing here, but this one still looks fine. But the noises have nothing to do with Power Rangers, so that's something I feel should always be considered too. But overall, I really like this Morpher quite a bit. Minor nitpicks aside, I think it'll be a lot of fun for kids and adult collectors. A definite recommendation, especially here with the holidays coming up. But anyway, that's about it for this time. The next review right after this will be the sword, so you'll get to see the cool combined mode. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dawson Ryder, signing out.